Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my kitchen. Man, today we got a good one for you. We're gonna be doing anabolic protein powdered donuts. So loaded with protein, so good, super anabolic. And if you guys are ready to get another epic video underway, then man, I'm here to do it for you. Let's do it.
You're only gonna see me where I'm paid to be. I'm only
Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today doing a recipe review on the Remington James Anabolic Powdered Donuts. This one just came out from Rem last week. They look like they're super tasty, super anabolic, loaded with protein, but we gotta put them to the test. We're gonna make it the same way Rem did. With no further ado, let's take a look at the ingredients. Here we go. All-purpose flour, some of that Final Boss Cinnamon Toast Swirl Whey Protein Powder, non-fat Greek yogurt, plain, baking powder, any zero-calorie sweetener, and our one substitution, instead of regular powdered sugar, we're going to be using Swerve confectioners. I went sifting through my cupboard and I found some real powdered sugar. So what I'm gonna do is 2 of the donuts are gonna have the real confectioner sugar here. The other 3 I'm going to put the Swerve on. And you know what? We'll do a taste test comparison, since that seemed to be a big point of discussion in the comment section on Rem's video. Why not, right? And like most of Rem's recipes, this one is super simple. You're taking all the ingredients, putting them into a large mixing bowl, mixing them all together, and then putting them onto a donut tray. Super simple, easy process. That's what we love about the anabolic diet. Sometimes foods are so easy to make, it's silly. All right, so let's get things started here. We're going to be adding in the first ingredient, which is going to be 60 grams of our white all-purpose flour. $60 grams, on the money. And now normally if I'm baking something, I'm going to use a vanilla-based casein protein powder, but hey, we got that Final Boss Cinnamon Toast Swirl Whey protein that Rem used and conveniently sells, so why not use it in the recipe? That's what we're gonna do. Here we go. Next ingredient up is going to be 62 grams of our Cinnamon Toast Swirl Whey protein. $62 grams in. Next up, we need 5 grams of our baking powder. 5 grams in. Then we need 10 grams of our zero-calorie sweetener. Now, Rem used Splenda in his recipe. This here is monk fruit. Splenda's about twice as sweet as this, so I might add in a little bit more here. But if you're using Splenda, 10 grams is what Rem used in his original recipe. 10 grams or more going in. And we cut it at 15. Sounds on the money to me. And I know normally we would sift our dry ingredients, but Rem didn't do that, and we want to be as accurate as possible to the way that he made it. So no sifting, but we do have one more wet ingredient to add in, 170 grams of our non-fat plain Greek yogurt. Negative scale trick that I did not invent. And with the remnants that's left on the spoon, we have 170 grams on the money. And now that we have everything in our mixing bowl, we mix it up. And it is another one of those recipes where when you're mixing it together, it seems like it's gonna be too dry, but if you keep mixing and mixing and mixing, and then when you're done, mix some more, it actually does work out perfect. And this is just how Rem's looked in his video. So now it's time to go get our donut tray, spray it down with some nonstick, and get this dough in there so we can start baking. High capacity nonstick spray loaded, and we gently spray. Done. And then what no doubt is the most tedious part of the entire recipe is going to be spooning our batter into the donut tray. Now what you could do is put this into a large plastic bag, like a freezer bag. Then you cut a hole in the corner and you could use it kind of like a pastry bag and go around the donut cutouts here. But we're gonna try to do it just like Rem did it so we can see how hard it is. We're gonna spoon 5 donuts onto our tray here. Although it is worth noting that Rem only showed us 1 donut that he did, so God knows how long it took him. There we have it, our 5 donuts all ready to go as evenly as possible. They've been spread out just like Rem had them. We're going to bake these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius for 6 to 8 minutes. Okay, let's do it. Okay, donuts are out. I had them in there for about 7 minutes. Now we're gonna let them cool on the rack and then put on our powdered Swerve and regular sugar. Then you know what happens. It's over to the taste test table. Okay, they've cooled to the point now where I think we can put on our powdered sugar. So what we're gonna do is take our non-stick cooking spray. We're gonna spray down each side and then dump them into the powdered sugar here and then the Swerve powdered sugar over here. Regular powdered sugar. Then we have our 3 left that we're going to use our Swerve confectioner sugar for. Okay, our donuts are powdered. We got our 3 in the front here that have our Swerve confectioners, and then for comparison's sake, we have our regular powdered sugar donuts in the back. Let's take these over to the taste test table and see how they taste. All right, so we're back at the taste test table here, and we're doing, I guess, a double taste test. So we're going to be trying the donuts the way Rem actually made them with real powdered sugar, which are these 2 in the front. And then there was quite the discussion about should he have used Swerve confectioner sugar in the comment section on his video. So these 3 back here actually have the Swerve on them instead of the regular powdered sugar. Is it a big difference per donut calorie wise? No, but if you want to stay away from sugar completely, it might be nice to know how they taste compared to the regular ones. So I figured, what the heck, somehow I got the regular stuff in the cupboard, might as well give it a try. So which order to try them in? Now, generally you want to go from lightest to strongest when you're doing a taste test. Generally speaking, at least I think. If not, I'm sure someone will correct me in the comment section. But anyhow, let's try the Swerve donut first, see how that is. So I'm going to grab the one to the right here, nice and powdered and fallen off. 15 grams of powdered sugar is what Rem used in his recipe. With the Swerve, it doesn't matter so much because, as we know, there's no calories in it. So let's try the Swerve one first. Here we go. Oh, that's super tasty. That's super tasty, yeah. You can definitely taste the Cinnamon Toast Swirl protein powder. It's definitely there, you can tell. It's definitely vanilla based. I think if you used a vanilla casein protein powder, which I would use in place of this if I was to make them myself, it would taste a little more probably like your actual powdered donuts. But these don't taste bad. That's a solid whey protein that Rem sells and has a good flavor to it that's definitely unique. Let's try another bite. Yeah, the actual donut part is very good. It has a very good texture. I'm actually very surprised considering that we used whey protein powder. I think the amount of all-purpose flour is definitely helping with that. As I've seen from the cookie recipes that I've done in the past, that definitely adds an element of texture that you don't need to worry about so much in terms of the macros. I think Rem even mentioned that in his video. He was talking about all-purpose flour, how we don't need to be scared of these things as long as the macros fit overall. One ingredient here or there that you may see is unhealthy probably isn't that bad. We're not using a ton of it. Again, these are protein packed, so it's not like it's going to make a big difference all in. Just like the powdered sugar. Speaking of the powdered sugar, why don't we take a taste test of the ones in front here so we can see how close they are and compare the flavoring to the Swerve. So let's grab this one here with our actual powdered sugar on it and we'll give it a try. Yep, that's real sugar. This actually tastes more like your donut shop type donut, for sure. You actually notice the Cinnamon Toast Swirl protein powder less with the powdered sugar donut than you do with the Swerve. The confectioner's real sugar is actually a little more powerful than the Swerve, believe it or not, at least as it matches up with this particular donut. Texture is still the same, obviously nothing changed about the donut base, that's still there. With the actual real sugar on it, definite taste difference, and I can see why Rem might prefer this. For very little calories that are added on, you actually feel like you're having an actual donut. Yeah, Rem's right in his video. He mentioned this is like taking powdered donuts out of one of those bags you get from the grocery store, those little donuts. Pull one out. This is actually what it tastes like. Much closer than the Swerve. Now, the Swerve isn't bad. I would actually probably make this over that, just because I'd rather have the Swerve. Regular sugar can be kind of a trigger food for some people. I know it is for me. So having something like that that's still sweet, but not going to add that sugar craving to it, that means a lot in terms of these types of recipes. But if you're looking for an actual donut flavored taste, this is the one to do for sure. I would say that if you're comparing this to an actual donut from a donut shop, this is definitely 8.5 out of 10, no doubt about it. You probably wouldn't even notice the difference if I mixed it in with regular donuts and these. Be tough to tell if you're using the real powdered sugar. And let me try another bite right after with the Swerve. You actually get more sweetness from the Swerve than you do with the actual confectioner sugar. It's kind of crazy, but it still works. Both work very well. I don't think you'd be disappointed with either one. I would say 8.5 with both, definitely. You're gonna feel like you're having an actual donut. Definitely meets that 8 out of 10 or above scale for sure. It's something you should definitely check out. If you ever get a craving for donuts, powdered donuts in particular, this is a no-brainer here. So if you're not using actual Splenda, I might recommend that you go a little bit further than I did. I went 50% more, took it from 10 grams of the Splenda that Rem used, and I used 15 grams of the monk fruit. I might have wanted to throw in the other 5 grams having tasted them now, because that level of sweetness in the Splenda, once you get used to it, it's very hard to go back to having it without. So I would definitely, if you're not going to use Splenda, if you're going to use a less strong 0-calorie sweetener, I would double it up, not just go 50% more like I did. Although, with the level of sweetness in the Swerve, you really don't need it for these ones that have that on it. Confectioners, yes. Once you get through some of the powdered sugar that's the real stuff, and then you're eating the actual donut, the sweetness kind of goes away. With the Swerve, it's so strong, you taste it the whole time that you're eating it. So definitely something where if you're going to use the Swerve, you might be okay not doubling up the 0-calorie sweetener if you're not using the Splenda. I'd actually be curious to see what these taste like with the Splenda that's a little bit more powerful than the actual monk fruit that I used. Overall, very solid recipe. I'll flash up the macros here so you guys can see what's in it. I'll also link below to Rem's original video so you guys can take a look at that if you haven't already. I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you probably already saw his, but nonetheless, it's there if you want to check it out again. Either way, these donuts, definite winner. I don't really have a preference either way to the powdered sugar to the Swerve. I would say that you should just pick whichever one you want to use, whichever one's going to work best for you. For the calories, it's really negligible. I wouldn't worry about it so much. If you want to have some real sugar, splurge a little bit, go for it. Spread out over 5 donuts, it's not going to have a huge impact at all. All right, one more bite on camera of our actual powdered donut. No surprises here. Solid recipe from Rem again. It's time for me to get up out of here though. I got to get going, so I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.